Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to my channel. We are today Monday, March 11th, 2019. And for today, I wanted to talk about, now, I don't usually talk about that, but I did want to talk about that because I find that, in not the entire world, maybe in the United States, there's always a comparison here too in Haiti. Like there's always a comparison between a woman who might be a darker skin complexion, like a woman who is of like African descent versus like a Hispanic woman. And there's always kind of like this comparison that a woman who might just be either Hispanic or a woman who might just be of a lighter complexion is a lot more beautiful than a dark skinned woman. And in my kind of like the years that where I have observed myself, my own self, I just started to look at it, but look at it from a very different perspective in terms of beauty. Because beauty is really in the eyes of the beholder. So beauty is like what's beautiful for you is not going to be what's beautiful for me. But I really wanted to do some comparison, and it's not going to be your typical comparison of a light skinned woman. No, it's not. So I wanted to do Hispanic women versus African descent women. So this is how we're going to do it. We're going to analyze sensuality and we're going to analyze upbringing because I find that that's where I don't want to say the issue, but the difference is when you're looking at a woman who might just have a totally different upbringing, like two women who have different upbringing. So first, I say Hispanic because okay, 1 minute. Let me tell you. I say Hispanic because I was not brought up in a family where my parents kind of like wanted me to be flirtatious or like sexual or sensual. It was nothing like that. I'm naturally someone who's like that, although my divine masculine is a lot stronger than my divine feminine. But over the years, I've wanted to polish my feminine side, like be a little bit more softer, a little bit more sensual. Because the reality is like being sensual and being into your feminine side is going to get you a lot of places. You don't need to sleep with people. You don't need to flirt with people. You just need to be in tune with your feminine side. It's going to open a lot of doors for you. And for me, I find that here in Haiti, they don't teach us that. They don't teach you to be sensual. They don't teach you to be in tune with your feminine side. A lot of times I find that women who are a lot more sensual in a country like Haiti tend to have a lot of names. Like they tend to, want to like bash them. And it's really not going to get you anywhere. So let's talk about the Hispanic culture. The Hispanic culture, because I've worked and I know a lot of Hispanic women and I love them. And they teach me too. They teach me crazy stuff. Like, listen, my Boricua, my Puerto Rican friends, oh my God, listen, they teach me crazy, crazy stuff. Like, so they taught me how to walk sensually. They taught me how to, just like have a certain, I did have it, but because I wasn't raised like that, I kind of like let it sleep away. So over the years, I started to touch on it a lot more. Okay, so let's analyze the Hispanic culture. Physical beauty, like I'm reading from my notes. So I said the Hispanic culture, men and women, they are very in tune with their divine feminine. I know so many Hispanic men who get their eyebrows done, they get their hair done, like they get their nails done, like their feminine side, they're very in tune with it. Like they love it too. Like they love to do their hair. They always have a line up in their eyebrows. Sometimes don't you see them? Sometimes you're like, damn, like your eyebrows is like better than my eyebrows. So the Hispanic culture, I find that they're really in tune with that. They're very in tune with their sensuality. I feel like at a young age, it's not so much that they are taught to be sensual, but that's what they have in their environment. They have aunties, moms, like abuela, grandmothers, like they are into that, like into fashion, into beauty, into, doing hair, doing make, like, and walking a certain way. Like, it's not a big thing for them. It's not like, oh my God, what are you doing? It's like part of their culture. They have also like a light culture where it's like everything is not so hard. Everything is not so harsh. Like a Hispanic woman, she knows that all she has to do is sit pretty because she knows that she's going to have like a man who's going to be too happy to do that because it is in the nature of a man to take care of a woman. So if you are in tune with that feminine side of you, that man is cool with doing that. So I said that they're divine feminine culture that evolves much on sexuality, on sensuous. That is the truth. They are very light, very fun culture. Okay, we have a lot of Dominicans people over here, and I can't sleep at night. I can't. They freaking party almost every single night. These people party, like it's part fun, fun, fun. Like being like of a Haitian culture, especially like coming from my like family, where it's like I feel like my family they're too strict, way too strict. So it's a like the Hispanic culture. Like I remember there's a Chelsea in Massachusetts. It's predominantly that's where I worked. Like in 2017. Oh my single God! Like if you on the week in Chelsea, this is kind of like a place where people party all the time. So it's a culture that's really light. It's not a culture where people are always stressed out, where people are always about work. People understand that there needs to be like a balance. Although I feel like they party a little bit too much. But also, I said sex isn't taboo. It's welcome. It's encouraged. Hispanic girls early on are very in tune with their beauty. They're very in tune with the art of seduction. There is enlightenment in their life. It comes from their upbringing. So that's really my observation. Like sex is not so much a taboo in the Hispanic culture. I find that kids, it's not so much that it's encouraged, but it's so much that kind of like it's there. Parents don't make so much of a big deal out of it. They do acknowledge it. They know that it's going to happen. Their sensuality, sexuality, it's okay. So let's talk about African descent women. Okay, so we're gonna read and then we're gonna analyze. So for an African women, I say, well, like before we start off, I know that there are going to be like people who probably are going to say that, well, that's not true. There's always exception into the rule. So I'm just looking at things at a broader perspective. That doesn't mean that every Hispanic woman is sensual. That doesn't mean that every woman who is like of African descent is not going to be sexual. So we're just doing like a broad, like, kind of like observation. So the first thing that I said that for an African woman, a black woman, life is a lot more heavy. Early on, she understands her responsibility. Sex can be a trade-off. Sex is also taboo. Women aren't expected to have pleasure during sex. She might never be in tune with her divine feminine. What's in the forefront most time is a sense of stability, thus work. She isn't taking time to pamper herself. Even when they are beautiful, they lack sensuality. Men gravitate toward these women as a sense of security. Men also tend to lack a sense of responsibilities toward these women. So that's what I wrote for like an African woman, like a black woman. A black woman early on, you like there's like the saying which like it should no longer be there, but it's kind of like the same kind of like when you're beautiful you're gonna have a man who's taking care of you. Like I said, it is not applicable in this time. So if you're raising your little pretty girls to be pretty all only, they're in for something. But yeah, you do find like a black woman, she understands early on in this life that it's kind of like I will need to fend for myself. I know that I'm not beautiful, so I need to work for what I have. So she focuses a lot more on her divine masculinity. She doesn't have the time to go get her nails done, her hair done like all the time. She's focused on making money. She's focused on being responsible. Sex as a trade-off. I'm not saying that she's like trading sex for money, but it's kind of like I understand that I'm with that man and I understand that I have to service him sexually, but I also understand that that man is going to do something for me like in my relationship, right? But also what I do realize that because she's so strong as a black woman, because her divine masculinity is so apparent, then the man lacks responsibility towards her. The man looks at her almost as a goddamn provider herself. So he's not looking at her like, oh my God, I need to bring this to my at home, I need to do this, because he knows that she's already centered, she already has it taken down, so he tends to lack responsibility in some of these relationships. He tends to look at her as the provider, or she is your equal, but she also needs for you to be tender to her. You know, a lot of these times you don't find these men, even here in Haiti, you will be very surprised how a man can treat different women from different social class totally different. How the woman who is at home taking care of his kids get treated like trash compared to the woman who's he supposedly society calls his side chick. But the side chick, or the woman who, that's the woman that he gets pampered, that's the woman who goes to the beach with him, that's the woman who does all these things. Meanwhile at home, his wife, that's all she gets. She gets the house. I mean, she gets a house sometimes, but she doesn't get to be pampered. She doesn't get love. She doesn't get, for him to say, babe, you know what, go get your nails done, go get your toes done. So she doesn't get that. And I find that it's in the upbringing. It's in the upbringing, like, it's how you bring your children up, and it's how your children are conditioned. So if you had a rough upbringing, then a lot of times as a woman, black women, they do have it really, I say they do have it really harsh. In the Haitian culture, we are not taught, whether we are light skinned, whether we are dark skinned, you're going to not, even let's say if you were to take like a Haitian woman and she's light skinned and you paired her with a Hispanic woman, there will be a contrast. The Haitian woman will lack a lot of sensuality, because sensuality is something that is not taught in our culture. Sensuality is something that is kind of like shied away in our culture. And I find that we need to redefine these things, because what makes a man, being really in tune, and it's your sensuality, it's your divine femininity. It's the way that you talk. You gotta be soft. And these are things that I'm teaching myself, because I tend to be really kind of like stronger, and it does come from a lot of my upbringing. Now, when I get comfortable, I can be very, very sensual. But if I don't know you and you see me walking down the street and you trying to call me, oh God damn it, I might just fight you. Sincerity, I might just fight you. But like I said, I have a lot of Hispanic friends, and they talk to me, and I watch and I listen to a lot of like podcasts that talk about divine femininity, just so that I can be a lot softer, a lot more like kind of like relaxed, and let a man do what he's supposed to do. Okay, this is it for the day. We are going to light up this channel a little bit. Instead of always talking about Haiti this, Haiti that, I'm tired of Haiti. So we're going to light up with different type of topic discussions for the month. And I thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next.